Welcome back to Open Line. Talking about the Nashville Film Festival. Starts next week. We have with us the artistic director Brian Owens, talking about all the films that are going to be there, and really just an opportunity to expand your world. Yes. I mean, there are all these documentaries, all these narrative films, and then all these people who have worked on them coming in and talking about them. It's a very interesting time of year. And I want to talk about the next movie, The Last Songwriter. The others we kind of played underneath as Brian talked. This one we're going to play the full trailer. But set up, what do we need to know about it?
It's essentially, it asks the question, can a songwriter still make it in the industry today? And it does so by reaching back to talking to some of our most famous singer-songwriters and songwriters to give a context as to what the industry changes in streaming and other services have done to the ability to make a living as a songwriter. So
why don't we watch this trailer? It's about 2 minutes long. We'll watch it and come back right after we see that.
Songwriting is fragile, and yet through it all, it's the most important step in music.
This song is about my grandmother.
I met Garth as a songwriter.
I owe my career to the songwriter.
I just started singing this to her as I'm walking out of the room, you know. I should have known, I should have. And she was like, sit down. We're doing this right now.
I looked up and they were like, that is brilliant. And I was like, well, of course it is. I've been saving that for you for weeks.
It was a transcendent moment, you know, to hear the words and the melody come together like that, that it's like they'd been looking for each other forever.
I knew that this was what I was supposed to do. I'll always be a songwriter. It was a fire that I had.
The first time I realized that my songs were affecting people was Strawberry Wine. And it's so strange because it was such a personal song for me.
Music has a value that's beyond a monetary value.
There's art and there's commerce, and neither of the twain shall meet.
Consumers don't know that the button they push on their car dashboard or smartphone arbitrarily determines how much artists and songwriters will be paid, assuming they will be paid at all.
You know, the label gets paid first.
I worry for the next generation of writers.
Somebody's making millions of dollars, but it's not the writers.
We don't have a middle class of songwriters anymore.
If you're not the one that's getting the single, there's really not much left for you now.
Can we have a serious negotiation about what our value is?
Who's gonna pay the songwriters?
If we don't have songwriters, there's not gonna be a music business.
Very interesting. Now, what night will that be on?
That will be on the second Thursday.
The second Thursday. Yes. That's great. And it says official selection Nashville Film Festival. Is it a premiere?
It is a world premiere, so that'll be the first time that it's seen anywhere by anyone other than, you know, the people who made it and people like us that screened them for the purposes of putting them in a festival. So yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah.
And when I talk about the different sort of competitions that there are, the music side of this, because we are Nashville, there's a lot that you're offering there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, along with that film that's in the Films Music City competition, which again is the $2,000 to $4,000 cash prize, we have a couple of different song awards. We had a song competition that's already been run and the winners have been named, where you could submit an original song to the festival. Our music committee listened to those. They picked the top 30. Those top 30 were then reviewed by Timbaland, and he picked the 3 winning songs. We fly in those 3 songwriters, or drive them from their house, because I think one of them at least was from here. And then they get the opportunity to play for music supervisors. And if people don't know what a music supervisor is, those are the people who listen to submitted songs and they put them in the movie. They put them in the television show or the commercial. Over the years, we've had songs performed at our festival that have landed in Grey's Anatomy, they've landed in Nike commercials, they've landed in, most recently in a Haagen-Dazs commercial. So we look out for our musicians and songwriters here in town just as much as we look out for our filmmakers. Toward the end of the festival this year, the second weekend is also a creators conference where we have educational sessions for musicians, for filmmakers, and for screenwriters. So those, you could buy a creators conference pass. which lets you go not only to all of those events, but also to any of the films in the festival. But you can also, if you don't have time to do all of those sessions, those are also still available by individual tickets of $12 each. So you can really get an education by hearing from some of the most experienced people in the industry for as little as $12. So
there you go. I think that movie looks great.
Yeah, it's really well crafted, and it really addresses to, I think, issues that are important to a lot of people in our city.
Let's look at Signature Move, and I think we'll play the whole trailer for that. What do we need to know before we play that?
Well, the Signature Move is a story of a young woman of Pakistani descent. She is a Muslim. She is also an out lesbian, and her relationship with her mother is kind of sent into turmoil when she develops a serious relationship, because mom is still trying to make arranged marriages for her because she refuses to accept certain aspects of her daughter's life. So to cope with everything, she turns to like lucha style wrestling with the mask, like the famous Mexican wrestler.
Okay.
It's a little bit of everything, but yeah, you kind of have to see it to believe it. It's a really fun movie.
All right, now, do we just have a clip? Should we just play the clip? You want to, okay, we're just going to play a clip. This is a clip from Signature Move.
You are lying to your mother and a lot of other people in your life about what you like to do in private.
Look, I'm just trying to figure it all out. It's hard. You don't know the way I was raised.
No, we're not that different. I get the whole mother and respect and family thing, and you're not in high school. And clearly your mother knows nothing about you. Honestly, I don't even know what we're arguing about. I mean, you do realize that we don't know each other well enough to be doing this, right? I mean, I don't know you well enough to be this upset. This is so lesbian. This is so lesbian. I mean, seriously, that's the gayest thing we could be doing right now.
You buzz around like you know everything there is to know about women because you're so experienced and you're so much better at this than I am.
I am.
So there's a clip there from Signature Move. When is that playing?
That actually premieres on the 26th. I'm sorry, 24th. And the star and producer of the film, Fawzia Mirza, will be in attendance to discuss the film. And interestingly, it's going to be paired with a short documentary that will precede it, called. Oh, so many titles.
It's like a quiz. I'm like quizzing you. It's like, when will that air?
But the short documentary is actually about her taking her one-woman show about her mother to Karachi, Pakistan, and the friendship that she develops with the woman that sponsored her to come over there, and then the tragic circumstances that befall the woman who hosted her one-woman show tour in Karachi. We're world premiering that documentary that will go along with this feature film. But Fawzia has actually been at the festival in the past, interestingly enough, as the executive producer of a documentary. And now she's coming back as producer and star of a narrative feature film. So it's really interesting to see the way filmmakers kind of come and go and the different roles that they take on as they come through.
And all right, another group I'm always interested in are these late night graveyard shift sort of horror movies. I mean, so I guess explain what the Graveyard Shift is and what can we expect this year?
I think it's one of the strongest lineups the Graveyard Shift has had. Graveyard Shift, for those that aren't aware, that's what we basically call our genre and horror section. And you really do have a lot of variety this year. There's A Closer Walk with Thee, which is about an exorcism gone wrong at a mission home in Los Angeles. There's a beautiful Irish horror film called Without Name. It sounds weird to say beautiful and horror in the same breath, but I mean just the Irish countryside. It's gorgeously shot, the cinematography is impeccable. And we have more of like an action thriller / horror from Albania, called Bloodlands, which is about a blood feud that develops between two families in a small village, and the filmmaker's coming with that one. So actually, a lot of the Graveyard filmmakers are going to be here. So if you're a horror fan, this is really, really an opportunity to check out some really interesting, unique, and visionary genre filmmaking, and get to chat with the sick minds that made them.
The sick minds that made them. Okay, all right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, continue our discussion. Be back right after this.